Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a eyebrow microblading update and kind of taking you through a touch-up that I'm doing and talking about if I like them still, if I want to keep them, do I think it was worth it, all that kind of stuff. So this is what they look like. They actually could probably go quite a while without a touch-up, to be honest, but I'm here in Vancouver and can get an appointment, so I'm going to see Tanya at Studio Sashiko. You can see that like I don't have hairs here, and so that needs some touching up right there. The color can go a little bit reddish. That tends to happen to a lot of people, and like honestly it doesn't really bother me, and I don't think you can really see it, only maybe like a little bit there, but I just brushed my brows up. So yeah, let's go. Just arrived. Here with my mom. I do have a video on the whole process, and you can see before and after microblading, and I'll link it below, and I'll link it right here as well. So I'm not going to show you the whole process again just because you can watch that other video, but I'll take you in there with me and I'll answer any questions that have come up repeatedly and then show you the end result. Okay, so we're on day 2 post microblading. You can see that they look quite dark and sharp, I guess is the best way to describe them. They will soften in color and kind of like soften the shape a little bit. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to like fully heal because it is a semi-permanent tattoo. Usually in about 2 weeks, they'll look a bit more normal. Like they'll start to fade in the next few days and they'll flake off, and then they'll look a bit lighter than they're actually supposed to. This is when some people freak out right after. They're like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. I did that the first time too. And then they also freak out after they've flaked off because they're worried that they're too light, but the pigment will come back a little bit. Wait till they're healed. Anyways, we went a little bit fuller, and look how good she is. Look at these little, these are not my hairs right down here. Those are microblading strokes. Like, she's so good. People travel from all over Canada and the States to go to Studio Sashiko. So if you're ever in Vancouver or in BC, I cannot recommend them enough. I will check back in with you guys in a few days and give you an update. Hi guys, don't mind me, I'm kind of hungover today. I went out with my girlfriends last night. I just wanted to show you an update on my brows. So this is day 5 and they are itching and slowly starting to peel. You can see a little bit that it's peeling and you really can't touch them at all. It'll just interfere with the peeling process. Oh, I have so many blackheads. Oh, shit. Yeah, so I've just been keeping them clean, washing them a few times a day, putting on a barrier cream a few times a day, twice a day. This is the Q-tip that I put the barrier cream on with, and you can see that some of it's exfoliating with that. That's really normal. You don't want to like hurry it along. You just want to like gently put it through, and whatever comes off, comes off. I guess it looks a bit odd, but like I don't really care that much. They are a little bit itchy. Try not to itch them. Keep them out of the sun. If I'm out in the sun, I'll wear like a hat and big glasses to protect them. So you can see they're still kind of dark, and so they'll basically all flake off, and then the color will look a little bit lighter, and then it'll kind of like come back as your skin like exfoliates, and then that'll be your microbladed brows. Anyways, just wanted to give you guys a few updates. I've had a few people messaging me like freaking out about post microblading, so this is what you can expect. Hello, it has been, I should really figure this out before I step on camera or like turn on my camera. It has been 8 days since microblading. A lot of the kind of peeling stuff has come off, although it's still dry and peeling a little bit. I'm not washing it all the time, but I'm putting barrier cream on twice a day. They're looking really good, but I do want to note that they do look lighter, and that's because, actually I don't know why, but I do know that they will kind of come into their color more in the next few weeks, probably within a week. It doesn't not look like I had them done, but they look a little light compared to what they were last week, but they will like become a little bit darker and kind of come into the color that they were supposed to be. That's the update. They look really good though. We're now at about a month out from getting my microblading touched up. So I wanted to show you kind of the final result. It takes usually about 6 weeks for them to like fully become what they will be, but I wanted to get this video up. So you can see that they are darker than the last time I showed you. They look amazing in my opinion. And this little part, you can't really tell because like I literally have no hair right here. You'll have seen from the beginning of the video, but you can't really tell. I just have some brow gel in them. Anyways, I asked you guys on Instagram kind of what questions you wanted me to cover in this. There were quite a few requests for a follow-up video for microblading. Again, if you haven't seen it earlier in the video, I do have a initial microblading video actually seeing what the process is like, and in the blog post I kind of have like, I think it's 7 facts that not everybody knows, but I wanted to do a follow-up as well. So, does it fade? Yes. Over about a year or two, the pigment fades. It all depends how your skin kind of reacts to it. It is a temporary tattoo. Yeah, it really depends how your skin and your body kind of like reacts to the color. I think some people's last longer than others. In about a year, I can tell that they've faded. I still think they look really good. I got compliments probably like a week before I did my touch-up. I go once a year just because I have my face on camera all the time and I want them to be looking really good, but I don't think that everybody needs to go once a year for a touch-up. The initial cost is fairly high. I paid $500 for my initial treatment. It can range from, I think, like $300 to $1,000 depending on the artist. So it is definitely an investment. And then after your first initial microblading session, 6 weeks later, you have a free touch-up. This is at Studios Chico, by the way. I'm not sure if it's at all studios, but you have a free touch-up and they'll kind of like see how your skin reacted to the pigment and add anywhere they need to, etc., etc. And then touch-ups, I believe, are $150 to $300 yearly. So it does fade, but it depends on your body, and I don't think it fades that fast. Are the brows defined or more powdery looking? Mine are super defined. Like, they look exactly like brow hairs. It's insane. The girls at Studio Sashiko are so fucking good. Anyways, so some artists I think look more like powdery, and if you get micro shading, that's more like filling in your brows with powder. But the blading is very much like a hairline. How many sessions are suggested to see results? Again, like after your first one, you have a follow-up session and then they'll be good for a while. Do you still have to wax, tweeze, trim around? Yes, you do. It's totally like you treat your brows like normal and you just have them like filled in all the time. I don't have any Toronto recommendations because I haven't gone to anyone in Toronto. I don't really feel comfortable recommending somebody like as a third party that I haven't personally gone to. I've got my tattoo at Ink and Water. There it is. And I know that they have a brow microblading artist and her work looks pretty good. I haven't gone to her, so I can't recommend her in that way, but Ink and Water is a good studio. And Tanya, who is my artist at Studio Sushiko in Vancouver, is maybe going to be coming to Toronto and do kind of like a pop-up. She has to like figure everything out. But if you guys want her to, I will put her info in the description box and like spam her Instagram and spam her with comments and tell her that you want her to come to Toronto. I don't only use like certain eyebrow products now. Like I barely use eyebrow products. I just will use the Benefit 24-hour brow gel to brush my brow hairs up. I like never fill them in, especially on a daily basis, unless I'm trying to do like a super strong brow look or something. I don't believe that you have to be using specific products on your brows after they've healed. I know that the first 2 weeks, at least the first 2 weeks after you get microblading, you can't put anything on your eyebrows, no makeup, no nothing, because they really need to heal. But then they're basically like, it's just pigment in your skin, almost like a tattoo. I'm scared about potential scarring. How do they fade out and does it look natural? Yes, they fade out. Like the color just fades, and if I would have left them, I think they would just slowly fade away and I would have natural brows. There's no scarring. You don't see any like blade indentations or anything. Like again, it is like a tattoo, so it's completely smooth. There's no issues with like scar tissue on your skin or anything. There's none of that if it's done well. So that's something else. Please, please, please do your research on your people and check out their Instagram and their portfolios and make sure that you really like their work, because this is your beautiful face. So just be careful. Would I do it again? The $1 million question, 1000%. I've had 2 touch-ups since I've done it. This has been now 3 years and I love it. I feel like they've changed my face and made me look a bit more mature, but not in like a bad way. And yeah, I absolutely love them. When the color fades, it can go slightly reddish sometimes. I don't really notice it like when my brows are brushed up, but it does have like a little bit of a reddish tinge. However, this last time that I went to see Tanya, they found a new pigment and she said that this one is better. So I will keep you guys posted on that. Is it worth the money? I think it is, but you have to remember that my job is in front of the camera all the time. But if you're really spending a lot of time on your eyebrows in the morning, if it's something that bothers you, I would say that it's worth it. Yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah, it does hurt a little bit. So because it's your face and it's near your eye, I would say like it hurts a bit more, but they do use a numbing cream. Like they'll leave a numbing cream on your eyebrows for like at least 30 minutes. And then in between, they call them pass-throughs. So in between when she goes through my brows with the microblading instrument, she'll put numbing cream on again. And like Tanya always checks with me, how are you doing? Is it painful? Da da da. She knows that I'm kind of a baby, so she puts more numbing cream on for me, so it's not unbearable at all. The initial appointment most of the time is taken figuring out the exact shape that you want. Then the actual microblading is probably less than an hour. So it's not that bad. Did you use photos for inspo? Definitely, definitely, definitely show brows that you really like, especially if it's work that they've done, but you can also show other brows so that your artist kind of gets an idea of what you're after. But also note that if they're really good, they'll kind of be able to be like, I think this would look good on you, or I think you should try that. And they'll never like force you to do something, but I definitely trust Tanya's opinion. And this time we went like a little bit thicker and I really like them. My aftercare was really simple. You are not supposed to get them wet like in pools, or you're not supposed to work out and sweat or anything, but you just keep them clean with water, and then they give you a little kind of like recovery little aftercare lotion thing that you put on a few times a day, and you do that for 2 weeks. Can I do hot yoga the next day? No, you can't sweat for at least a week for sure. I don't know the exact science or anything, but it can kind of alter how the pigment is like into your skin, or I don't know. Basically, no. I wouldn't, especially if you're like spending that much money on it and putting that much time into it. You want to make sure that like it heals properly and it really gives you what you want. Okay, last question. Are the finer, thinner strokes still visible after 2 touch-ups? So kind of like where I've had my initial microblading. At the end of the year or like a bit longer, the brow hairs are not quite as sharp just because they like fade a little bit. You can definitely still see them. It's not like I've just filled in my brows with powder or anything, but they are a little bit softer. Just keep that in mind. Like, again, I still think it looks really good. If I didn't have my face in front of the camera all the time, I probably wouldn't get a touch-up for like 2 years. I think that they look great. I don't know the name of my brow style. Honestly, instead of like trying to explain something, I would take a picture just so that people are on the same page. Just to reiterate, I went to Studio Sashiko in Vancouver. I think that they're the best of the best. My artist's name is Tanya. I will have her info in the description box. Again, all of the women at Studio Sashiko are amazing. The owner, Shaughnessy, who's also a tattoo artist, actually tattoos areolas and nipples onto women and men who have lost them for whatever reason, and they look unbelievable. Like, she is insanely talented. Shaughnessy is quite a bit more expensive just because of her experience, and I think she was like very early adopter of microblading, and she's amazing. She like flies down to New York and LA to kind of like do pop-ups there as well, but I would highly recommend them. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. I hope that this was helpful and gave you a little bit more insight into microblading and maybe push you one way or the other. So subscribe if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.